Warrior.
Yo, what's poppin'? All my peeps, it is I, your host, the most Renaissance man who always thinks he can, and champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, back in the yard of streams for yet another edition of the Raw Rewind, part of Pitts and Sara's wrestling show, where we take no nights off. And you can't have Pitts and Sara's wrestling show without the best of the West you can't forget about. Sarah Marshall, what's poppin', girl?
Hey, yo.
Sarah, I'm not gonna lie for a second. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I really thought I was getting scared again. You can't. I thought I was getting scared again.
Oh no, I wasn't planning on that. Ah!
It's so terrifying. Oh man, gets me every time.
Yeah, now I'm. Yeah, you just tempted me. I wasn't gonna do it. I wasn't planning on it. So.
Oh, but I just
What's
up, David Bernard? Our peeps in the chat. We can now. No better way to announce this with chats popping up. We get super chats now. Yeah.
Woo!
We can get super chats in the chat. Sarah has been grinding the videos with that. We've been grinding on this to get there, and now we can get super chats. I'm pumped about it. I have zero idea how it works.
Give your girl $3 for a comment or a sticker, bruh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, we'll see. I'm curious to see who the first one's going to be.
That would be a good little prop bet. That'd be a very good prop bet to place. I don't know either.
We'll have to see, but it's kind of fun. I mean, because the comments pop up in different colors and stuff. So, but anyway, yes, we can do super chats and stuff because we've officially reached the threshold for that, and we're still like 900 something hours away from monetization. But, you know, we're slowly but surely getting there. So it's all right.
Slowly climbing that mountain. We're going to get there. We got here. Mm-hmm. We got here with a hope and a prayer and a little bit of faith. So,
yes.
It's Sarah. We have a lot to talk about, so I'll segue in with a little bit. Raw was very good last night, especially with it being the last Raw under a full McMahon majority ownership stake in the company. And by God, what a way to exit with that ending. We're going to save it. I mean, if you watch Raw, I'm saving it because I'm building up for that eventual ballad I'm going to belt out. Prayers to my parents' ears upstairs because But before we get into that, it was good, you know. And I heard that Red Tomato Potato, that Vince was making changes last night. I did want to ask your thoughts on this before we broke down the show. Where that Vince is back from his spinal surgery, he's making changes, and the most notable one I saw was the opening segment starting out with Jay instead of Cody, which I liked. I kind of like that change. So I'll leave you to the floor because I didn't mind if that was the change we're making. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, it was fine with me if the segments were supposed to go the way they did, then Cody's opening segment would have lasted literally 2 minutes. So exactly. I'm fine with them being like, no, let's push that back because it's like, if that's all that it was going to be, that's a very short opening segment for Raw or SmackDown, really. So yeah, no, I'm fine with it because what they did at the beginning was more story influenced, whereas like Cody, there was just like no point to that. We'll get to it, but like there was not a whole lot of story influence in there. So yeah, I'm fine with that as long as, you know, he doesn't get too crazy. I mean, Vince, but.
The way I see it is that you want to start off Monday Night Raw with your protagonist for the episode. So who is the episode going to focus around? Whether it be a wrestler, excuse me, a group, whoever. And if you start out with Cody again, it feels like you're just getting a cheap pop to get them to do the whoa and all that instead of enhancing something where you have Jay here, and this is a good segue into our opening segment. But you have Jay come out, and before he gets to talk, he's interrupted, and then it starts his next chapter of Jay Uso on Raw
Mm-hmm.
and what that's going to be the next week after what he's dealt with the week before. So that's why it makes sense for those changes.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems that it's not just cuckoo Vince going crazy backstage, pushing Lacey Evans for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
There's actual substance behind the changes.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. So as we already said, Jey Uso started the show.
Him,
It's just
Oos.
him,
Big
Oos.
one ish.
Says it's just me, Oos, but like I'm not
Just
gonna say
me,
that.
Oos.
It's not me.
It's not
Um,
me.
yeah. So you know, his segment until Kevin Owens came out was basically pointless as well. So he just comes out, hypes up the crowd, and talks about how he feels great being out of the bloodline finally. And we also saw the debut of the new blue hair in the mullet.
Yeah, what do
So
we?
he's
He's
now,
on Raw.
I know, but red was like the color of the bloodline. So you gotta
True. Okay.
switch it. So
All
now he's
right.
gonna be doing the whole blue thing, you know?
Blue,
And I have
blue,
to say,
dabba
I'm
dee,
glad that he
dabba
did that
die.
because that platinum blonde wasn't it. Okay.
No. Yeah, I disagree. It depends. Depends on the style.
Yeah. So Kevin Owens does come out very slowly. And he says that Jay made a mistake when he said Monday Night Raw because it's not Monday Night Raw, it's the Kevin Owens show. So he says, I don't trust you, Jay. I understand what you're trying to do. You're trying to warm up to people. You're kind of trying to like make up for all of the trauma, basically, that you've inflicted upon this locker room over the past 3 years. I too have made mistakes and in the past and have done some pretty terrible things to people that I care about. And I'm still trying to make up for those things that I've done. And, there are people back there that still do not respect me. And he said, the only people in the back that are cool with Jay being on Raw appear to be Sami Zayn, because we saw that interaction last week, and Cody Rhodes, because Cody is the one who got the whole
Got him
trade
here,
to
yeah.
happen. Yeah. And but he let Jay know, you're gonna have to earn my trust and respect. Okay. And that's when the Judgment Day is like, excuse me? What's going on here? So Finn,
Don't you dare disrespect main event Jey Uso.
and
I don't.
so
I was.
that was a mix of like Imperium and some, I don't know.
Yeah, that was. I gotta work on my impressions like really bad.
So Finn comes out and immediately just criticizes Kevin Owens for saying that, because he's like, why does he need to prove himself to you? Why does he need to earn your respect? Jay doesn't have to do any of that when it comes to the Judgment Day. We all respect him and we already believe in him and support him. And Damian is like, hey, there's always a door open for you to join us in the Judgment Day. You just have to walk through it. Dom tries to get on the mic. He can't hear really anything. And but he did, the one part you could really hear was said when he said that since he joined Judgment Day that he has accomplished the best version of himself, because look at him, he is a
He's North American champion.
So Damian then brings up like, hey Kevin, we were supposed to have a match with you and Sammy tonight, but where's Sammy? And that's when Kevin's like, Sammy's not here. And I'm like, are we just like
I kind of love this like last minute like, well, he's not here. Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's
well,
like,
he
what
needs
is...
a partner.
Yeah, so Kevin's like,
it's
well,
like-
I'm
it's
dressed.
basic wrestling.
I'm willing to take on the two of you, the three of you, all of you. I don't care. And then Jay's like, hold up. I know that you just went on this whole spiel about how you hate me and don't trust me or whatever, but bro, I will be your partner. And Kevin's like, all right, whatever. And so we get Jey Uso and Kevin Owens versus the Judgment Day.
This is a
So
match. This should kick off Raw. Like this this is a solid match to kick off Raw because you get the stars out of the way, and
Mhm.
it's a nice match to hype up the crowd. This was a solid match.
It was. That's basically all I had to say about it. Really, was that it was a good match. It was a very typical tag match that we have been seeing recently, especially involving the Judgment Day. And of course, we have to get a little twist to end it because of the drama between Jay and Kevin Owens. And Jay accidentally super kicks, or at least should we say
Oh,
accidentally, because we
oh
don't know.
no.
We don't know. He accidentally super kicks Owens, which led to Finn hitting a coup de grace and get the pin for the win. So immediately, Jay tries to say he's sorry. It was an accident. I didn't mean to. Kevin just walks away. And then we see them talk in the back. And Jay is still trying to be like, I'm sorry, bro. Like, it was an accident, blah, blah, blah. And Kevin just goes off on him and is just like, you know what? Why don't you just go find your new bloodline? Like, go join the Judgment Day. This and this, blah, blah, blah. And Jay is just standing there like, and so
Dog.
it looks like if we're going to be focusing in on a new feud, I guess I would assume that we're going to probably be getting Jay versus Kevin Owens, right?
Yeah, I feel that for a little bit. I don't know. That's the thing. I don't see a feud coming about this right away. I see this more being Jay trying to prove to KO that it was an accident, which, I mean, the fictitious Helen Keller could have seen that he accidentally kicked him. So
Oh
I
my god.
just.
Oh my god. Okay.
There it is. You caught the adjective. No, but it's
The
just like serious. Like it's I appreciate that story element or whatever because you have to do it in wrestling, but like I don't know. I just don't see Jay feuding with KO right away. If anything, it would be they're just gonna it's gonna be every baby face or whatever against the Judgment Day. Like the Judgment Day are the heels running Raw, so they're going to be the main attraction when it comes to setting up for pay per views and whatnot.
my
Yeah.
I think my biggest concern is that I don't want to go back to having to see Sammy try to convince Kevin and other people that Jay is cool and he's different now and this is the real Jay now that he's out of the
Yeah,
bloodline. And like I don't want to see that again. We dealt with it for months. I don't want to go back to that part of the storyline, and that's what I'm concerned about because they immediately have Jay interact with Sammy basically like on his first real
that's
episode.
okay.
And then you
Easy.
see him the set next week. He's like right into Kevin, and then he screws over Kevin accidentally. And then we have this whole interaction. I'm just like, I don't
Yeah.
want to go back to that because of course Sammy is not there. And so he's gonna have seen this. He's gonna hear from Kevin. He's probably going to hear from Jay. So let's not revisit this because like
I don't think we're getting it. I don't think we're getting that.
well,
I have an idea that it's gonna go in the direction of Sammy and KO just kind of being stepping stones, where it's like, listen, I can hoot and holler and say how you're a great guy and all this to everybody, but it doesn't matter, and we believe that it doesn't matter. So how do you go about it where you have Jay gain their trust back without having to do backstage segments with it, but then also get a couple other guys on his side too to make him feel comfortable at Raw, so that the whole reason you haven't be comfortable at Raw is to launch a future Bloodline story or another side story to the Bloodline, which that makes sense.
Well, and they definitely planted seeds of like other things happening. So we saw a potential something with Kevin, something with the Judgment Day. We saw him have that little interaction with Drew McIntyre. So it's like he's having these other interactions with people that are making it seem like, okay, well, they could go in that direction or they could go in this direction. So there's options. I think that we'll just have to see like how next Raw goes, and I think if that's when we see more of him between Kevin and Sammy, that's where I think I'm going to start to just be like, God, no.
No, yeah, this is a nice comment. to launch our other, other comments that I want to get to here. Does it feel like Jay will lead a Team Raw versus Team SmackDown Survivor Series and he pulls a Dolph Ziggler for Raw for the win? I could absolutely, now that this is being said, I could see a bloodline centric Survivor Series where it's Team Jay versus Team Jimmy.
Hmm. Yeah.
That's what it's like. I don't believe Paul Heyman when he said that they're in the bottom of the third, but I do believe he's onto something where this is not far from over. So how do you fill that time with stuff that is a lot more creative than what you've been already giving to the table? You're incorporating a lot more superstars to the mix so that you're giving more opportunities to these guys who aren't getting TV time. And how are you setting up for the future champions that will be crowned at the culmination of the story?
Well, and I think this would be the best way to kind of get Jay versus Jimmy out of the way, because so many people think it's going to happen at Mania.
You want to see it at Mania?
I don't want to see it at Mania.
Oh, I would love to see it at
I
Mania.
don't want to see that verse. Well, I mean, I guess if that happened, I don't know. I still want to see some. I don't know. I just don't see how they're having this happen right now, and we're talking about 7 months from now having the match happen. I just don't. I feel the stuff with the bloodline changes every single week. I don't see them being able to figure out a way to keep this relevant for 7 more months. That seems bonkers to me.
I
So I
do though.
think it makes more sense that they could do this at Survivor Series, because this would be so hyped because people want to see Jimmy versus Jay. So this would be so interesting for them to be the captains. And even if it was like War Games, just imagine the pop when like they both are in the ring staring at each other.
Doing the
You know?
stare down the
Yeah.
middle of the ring. Yeah,
Yeah, and
oh,
it's like, oh my
absolutely.
God, it's finally happening. Like, it doesn't even have to be that they start at the same time. They don't have to, like, it doesn't have to be that way. It's just going to be absolute chaos because people are going to want to see it. But I do think that would be a way to get that done. And then we don't have to really talk about it, because I just think the bloodline's going to be in a different point around WrestleMania. But I think that would be really interesting, because then
Yeah.
it also plays into the dynamic of like, okay, who will trust Jay enough to join his team, you know?
And there's
And
another,
especially
yeah.
that's interesting, but then also if it's going to be going up against like Team Bloodline from SmackDown, because you would assume that it would be Jimmy, Roman, and Solo, you would think that there would be more guys willing to join Jay's team because they would be able to get their hands on the bloodline. But then you're like, I'm not sure, because Jay's, that's his family. Like, is he gonna really hit his brother? You know, I think that could be really fun to watch, actually.
Roman wouldn't participate. He would have
I would
Jimmy handle
assume.
his business, and
Yeah.
it would be like, like.
But still, I'm just trying to think. I'm like, Roman has to come back soon, dude. Like, this is like
He's on the island of irrelevancy at this point.
whatever.
I'm just. Oh, another one has been great. Makes me wish Jimmy was doing something similar. Patience. Patience
He's
is a virtue.
Jimmy's
Patience is
not
a
as
virtue.
over as Jay, like organically. They're over together, like as a unit, but
Yeah.
because they've had these runs of Jay by himself, he kind of got over on his own because of Jimmy being injured. That's basically the
Oh, a
reason.
thousand percent. Yes.
Otherwise, we wouldn't be talking about main event Jay. You know what I mean? Because he wouldn't have existed. So Jimmy, I mean, I think that they're trying to establish him as a guy on SmackDown. It's just going to take longer because they're also trying to have him go in a different direction than what Jay's doing. So
Yeah, I agree. Cha Cha boy. I may not always come. The stream starts, but I'm always on time. What's up, peeps? Thank you for
what
joining
is
us,
up?
Cha Cha boy. We love our peeps. Nathaniel asking if we hope Jay joins the Judgment Day. No,
I think it would be
not.
funny, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think like we're going to keep seeing it be teased, kind of, because
Oh yeah,
only because he's going to be looking for people to like trust him. And so the Judgment Day are like very clearly like, we trust you, we want you, like blah 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 blah, and everyone else is very much against him. So I think that's the only reason why it looks like he's kind of like entertaining the idea.
I'd agree with that.
But yeah, so then we move on to Chelsea Green. She
My favorite. I am a huge fan of Chelsea Green.
I know. So Shayna Baszler is being interviewed, and she's just complimenting Zoe for how well she performed against Shayna last week. Because after she put her in that sleeper hold, Zoe got like right up and was just like, "I'm awake," and I'm like, "Wrestling, like wrestling." Yeah, and I'm like, because everyone else is like passed out asleep, but Zoe just magically knows how to like, yeah. So Chelsea rolls up and tries to convince Shayna to be her tag team partner because we learned that Piper still had not been medically cleared because she was ill. And Shayna kind of took offense to that and basically challenges Chelsea to a match, which Chelsea was not thrilled with. And then as she turns, Piper's back and she's like, "I am medically cleared." And she takes back her tag team title. So we were like, oh, okay. So then we see Shayna Baszler versus Chelsea Green, which was, I mean, it's a quick match, guys. I don't know what we were expecting from it, but
both gals did their jobs to push the ship forward.
I loved that one. I think when Shayna was trying to put Chelsea into a submission, and Chelsea is like fighting her, and then she's like, "Piper, like, where are you? Like, why aren't you pulling me out of the ring?" And I was just like, "This is why she's so great." And then she does eventually pull her out. Obviously Shayna wins pretty quickly, but afterwards Piper's like, girlfriend, you are not going to do that to my tag team partner. And she tries to beat down Shayna, but then here comes Zoe Stark. And it looks like we are getting the formation of a new tag team in the women's division. It looks like we are getting Shayna and Zoe. And at first I was kind of like, I actually really like it. I'm here for this.
Me too.
Oh my god, I have to sneeze. Woo! Hold on.
Bless you.
Thank you. Oh, I didn't want people to see my sneeze face. It's not attractive.
No, everyone's got that awkward face that they do when they empty
sneeze.
body parts, fluids, whatever. Move on. Next.
Okay.
So tag team.
Shayna,
you go.
Shayna and Zoe. I like this because there really was no clear direction for either of them after Shayna finished up with Ronda and Zoe finished up with Trish. We haven't seen Trish since. And then we know that Becky is busy down on NXT. So it kind of left both of them just floating around with nothing. And we know that Zoe has been impressing the people backstage. So there's no reason that they were going to keep her off TV.
Yeah.
So I like them as kind of like a power tag team. I don't think that they need to be the champions right away because I do want to see Chelsea have an actual reign.
Yeah, seriously.
But I like their pairing because they're really similar, but kind of like the way that Ronda and Shayna were, but that Zoe can hang. So it's like, it's not the same impression at all.
What I like about this is that you're building a women's tag division. It seems like you're doing so with pairing these two. It doesn't seem just random. It makes sense with their fight styles and chemistry. You have, the odd couple with Chelsea and Piper, but like somehow that works because Chelsea's that good. And then whenever, Endeavor wants to throw Katana Chance and Caden Carter, the after party, on our television and grace us with their presence because I miss them. No offense to Chelsea, but I kind of want them to be tag champs, or even the mystical ones, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn.
I know they've been doing it seems like dark matches from what I understand. So
that's promising. You know what? I'll be positive about that.
Yeah,
that's promising.
Yeah, so I'm excited that they're actually appearing to put some sort of effort into the women's tag division because I think we've sat on here plenty of times complaining about how it seems like they just don't care. So that is at least progress, right? So we shall see. Then we get into like one of the best parts of the night, okay? And that is Gunther's ceremony as the longest reigning intercontinental heavyweight champion of the world. And we got a proper introduction of Gunther by Ludwig Kaiser. What do you want to say?
No, I'm trying to remember it because I want to try and imitate it because I did it while he was doing it, and now I forget it.
He
I
wants all your
demand,
gratitude.
I demand all your gratitude, and that's all I remember.
Mm-hmm.
We have terrible.
So
terrible
we see my boys backstage before this looking dapper in their suits. Hello.
very James
Beautiful.
Bond, very James Bond-esque.
I love how Gunther was the only one wearing a white shirt too. I was just like, you
Because
went
he's the
traditional
alpha.
here. Yeah.
He's the alpha here.
So the ring is set up like their entrance video with the pillars and everything, and I was just like, this is wonderful. I loved this. So Gunther comes in after being introduced, and he stands on the podium in the middle of the ring, hypes himself up in English and Austrian, German, whatever.
You're missing the pyro
In the
explosion.
pyro, yes.
He
yes.
got a massive pyro ceremony too.
As he deserves.
He does deserve it. He
Yes.
does deserve it. I will say
So he hypes himself up in multiple languages, and he diminishes the legacies of all of those that came before him. And he says that they accomplished nothing, which is true. And
Don't you dare disrespect Honky Tonk Man like that.
Shut up. So he
Got a boost.
says that he has elevated the championship to new heights, which I mean, can anyone disagree? Is it real? Are we gonna disagree?
No.
So of course, Chad Gable invites himself to the party because he wasn't invited, but of course he's just like, you know what? I'm here.
So he's like Gunther. Like he's like the friend at the back of the line.
Yeah,
or like, hey,
or that he doesn't have a microphone. Like, why are you yelling? You're
Gunther,
on a microphone
right here at
the entire arena can hear you.
Incredible.
So he says that, hey, yeah, we had a really great match last week, and I'm still feeling it a week later. And by the way, congratulations on becoming the longest champ. I don't care. He says he could tell after the match when he looked into Gunther's eyes that he had pushed him to his limit more than anyone else that Gunther has ever beaten. And I was like, okay. And he said that when he saw the looks on his family's faces, especially his daughter who was bawling her eyes out.
That was so sad.
He said how it basically lit a fire under him, and he swears to God he is going to take that championship away from Gunther. And then Gunther he went, straight for the jugular, okay? He's like, you're just wanting attention and sympathy for bringing up your kids. Like, why are you talking about your children and using them as bait to get into the spotlight? You are a terrible father. And that was when shit got real.
When you drop the terrible father, I mean that's pretty bad. That's the grounds for a nice punch in the face. But one thing I wanted to say though was that did you notice the words he was using, the specific words and the emphasis on the words? Gable during what he was saying.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't watch it back. So
all right. Well, because from what he was saying, he's putting a lot of I swear to God, and I, really emphatic with how he's so determined to become Intercontinental Champion and strip Gunther of his reign. That usually is an indicator that the babyface better win the match, better win that next match. Here's the thing, though. And I knew that would be your reaction and a lot of the reaction of the peeps online. They don't need to do it right now. They don't. Chad Gable can be the one to dethrone him. That is no problem in my eyes. The issue comes in with doing it right away. Let Gunther go after Ricochet. All right, just throw a random name in there. Or somebody else at Fastlane or another pay-per-view. And then have him lose it to Chad Gable, whether it be at WrestleMania, whether it be at Royal Rumble. It just have Chad Gable be that guy. This needs to cool off. Chad Gable needs to go and do something else with Alpha Academy, maybe even win tag team gold.
Mm-hmm.
Alpha Academy needs to get to where Gable is, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because they're so strong together, and right now Gable is outshining them just with this feud alone. So you need to find a way to get them back in the hole. Maybe, have them win tag team gold, feud with Viking Raiders, and then knock them off their feet. So then they have another opponent, and then once they lose tag team titles, Gable maybe they lose to Imperium, and then you have them lose to Imperium. Gunther costs them the match, and then boom, you already set up that feud. You took my tag team titles. I'm gonna show you what it's like to have your title taken away. Boom.
I
I
mean,
don't know, Sarah. I just
I think the problem is that it it's true with what Gunther said is that he is kind of like running out of competition. Like there's not a whole
really
lot
is.
of people on the roster that is left for him to feud with or have a title match with. And so I think that's why in a way they're probably still going with Gable because it's relevant and obviously people are interested in it. So I but I agree. I don't think that they need to take the title off of Gunther right now. I mean, I'm going to say that anyway, and I've said it already because I think it's ridiculous to have him become the longest reigning champion and then just like immediately take the title off. Like I just don't. I feel like you need to have him establish that legacy further because it's just like when the Usos broke the New Day reign. They didn't then take the titles off of them like 2 weeks later or a month, it wasn't very quick after that. So, especially where this is a record that was held for 35 years. I mean, it was a big deal that he broke it. And then there are people who are saying that his title run rivals that of Roman Reigns.
I
So,
would say it does. 1,000%.
um I think it would be a mistake to take it off of him. And it doesn't matter who it was. I'm not saying like Chad Gable deserves it or he doesn't deserve it, but I do think that if we're talking about doing it at least soon, then I don't want it. And I don't like that idea. And I'm not like against Chad Gable. I'm just not into it. Like I just don't care about him winning the title, but I think that's also because I'm pro Gunther. So
You are. That is 1,000% why.
yeah, I'm
I
just
just
not I'm
I
just
just throw that out there. That's a
I
thousand
mean
why.
Gable's talented. I don't care. I don't care. So,
The only
um,
people I see right now, I'm scrolling through a roster that realistically could take him down, and it would be a fresh feud. Would be I just had it. Where'd he go? Bronson Reed.
mm,
I don't care. It's two heels. It's fresh face, and when it comes to titles, you can kind of throw that shit out the window. Um, and that's really it. I mean, there is one person that possibly could. Never mind, he's gone. Sami Zayn, if you want to cool down the KO Sami tag team, former Intercontinental Champion too. So it would add if he beat him, he beat another Intercontinental Champion. Um, and that's really
I mean
it.
Cody,
That's yeah, but like
but we also think Cody's being traded to SmackDown. So
yeah, Jey Uso.
I guess,
That's another one. Like just throw
yeah,
Jey Uso in there.
I
For
guess.
like you could do a couple weeks at least, a month. You could get a month little mini feud out of Jay and Gunther. Jay doesn't have to win at all. Actually, I would prefer Jay not to win, which is why it's perfect.
Well, and I think that's where they got themselves in a hole a bit with Gunther, which was a good thing and a bad thing. With the good part was they had him face a lot of people, and in a short span of time, and he was defending his title all the time, which was something that they needed to do, especially when he was on SmackDown because the the universal champion, the undisputed champion wasn't there. So it was like, okay, well, we're still getting like kind of an equivalent sort of being shown on TV every week. But then I think because he did that and a lot of that was it's a match here, a different match here. Like it wasn't substantial feuds. That's why they're kind of like in murky water right now. Cause it's like
Yeah.
they have developed this actual feud with Chad Gable. So it feels like you kind of have to go all in on this because they don't have anywhere else for him to go. And so it's tricky. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
Interesting enough.
yeah. So after,
Braun, I forgot about Braun Breaker.
oh
Yeah,
yeah.
Braun Strowman. My bad. Braun Braun.
But he's dealing with a like neck injury.
I
So
mean, yeah, but
Um, so
Ricochet.
after, obviously Gable gets pissed, so they start to brawl in the ring, and because Otis does come out, they're still outnumbered 3-2. Tommaso Ciampa decides, hey,
That's another guy who
I've
could.
I've got nothing going on. My buddy Johnny Gargano was at a house show this weekend, but I guess we're still not doing anything. So why don't I just roll up and join you guys? And I'm like, I feel bad for him.
I know. His friend's missing.
I know,
I can't
and
find him. It's
well,
just so
and they
sad.
tease it, and I'm just like, I'm confused.
What are we
So
waiting for? That's me. Yeah, you bring up a good point, Sarah. They've teased it. So
multiple times, not
if you're
once. It's like
no, you don't do a
it's
social segment and then a TV segment, and then I
mhm.
think they did one more TV segment too. You
Well,
don't do that.
the last time it was like a couple weeks ago where they had Champa talking to, I don't know if it was Triple H or Adam Pearce, and
It
they were
was
like,
Adam
"Oh, can we
Pearce.
continue
Yeah,
that conversation?" Oh yeah, and you knew exactly what it was. So yeah, and then obviously, like you said, he was involved in the Chelsea's Got Talent thing. So it's like, and that's when he mentioned his buddy went missing,
and that's
whatever.
like
So
you already planted the seed. Why
yeah,
not give it the sunlight to grow? Come on.
yeah, it's just it's weird. So obviously this leads to Imperium versus Alpha Academy and Champa. It was a great match. Good to see Imperium working together again, all together. But guys, if you don't believe me by now, have you seen the problem with how they book Imperium? Because of course, who is the one to
Death,
lose the match?
death.
Who's the one that lost the
I'm
match?
death. Taxes. Vinci takes the fall. Put that on a T-shirt.
It's
We
so
should put that.
annoying. It's so annoying. Like it's just so annoying.
It's fun to poke fun at you with this, for the banter and whatnot. But you raise a good point. Ludwig can take a fall.
I
Like I
know.
don't know why we're protecting him so much. I get why we're protecting him. Don't get me wrong there. But like if he tapped out in this match, to me that's tomato potato with Vinci. And Vinci is taking the fall so much. Why not give him that off? Because now it stirs the pot. And now you got people like us more intrigued why this dude's taking the fall. And if there's going to be even more heat uh, on them backstage, and that could even be a social thing in the locker room, like, and he's yelling at Ludwig and all that. Like, there's so much you could do there instead of the same old death taxes. Vinci takes the fall.
Well, and that's the thing too is like they've shown us these little glimpses of there being inner turmoil in Imperium and Gunther being upset and taking a lot of that anger out on Vinci, but then they kind of have put that on the back burner now and they haven't revisited it in a few weeks. But then when you have this happen, it's like, okay, so you're purposely doing this still. And
Yeah.
the only one that makes sense in my eyes to protect is Gunther. Like I understand why they don't have him tap or why they
Totally.
don't have him lose. I get that. And I understand Kaiser, but like I don't know. I saw Richard say he doesn't mind the way that they book Imperium because Gunther is the powerful one, not the group. But I hate that because again, he is not someone who's not going to surround himself with like he's not going to hang out with scrubs. He
But
needs the tag team to be dominant too. Like they don't have to win every
every
match, but like they
every villain has the sidekicks. That's the point. The sidekicks are gonna go down like a bowling pins.
Well, and if you keep having Vinci lose, then why is he still in Imperium? Like, why is it not just Gunther and Kaiser at this point? Like, and I don't want that, but it's like if you're just going to keep having Vinci be the one to lose, then he's obviously the fat you need to cut. Like, I just don't. Doesn't
But
make any sense.
do you think this is all just pushing and pushing further and further so that when I don't want to say Gunther lose the title, but you do need to see Imperium in the tag team picture, and they do get in the picture, and you have them winning matches, getting over all that. I feel that the next step there would be Vinci saving the match, or maybe he's not picking up the win, but he's hitting that finishing move of the double team finisher, like he's hitting it for them to get the win. So if that's the case and you're building to that, fine, but can we at least get it soon? I'm getting impatient.
Well, that's why I thought when Kaiser said that he was going to handle business or whatever, and then he was like, "Well, what are you going to do to Vinci?" I figured that they were going to have Vinci do something like that to like
Yeah.
help Kaiser or help Gunther in the match, and then we just never
Oh.
saw anything. He's just standing on the outside of the ring like a deer in the headlights, and I'm just like, I don't understand what's going on. So I hope that they do something because it's just like I don't know. I know that I'm biased, but it's just frustrating when you see people who are really talented be wasted. That's what I get frustrated about because there's just no reason for this dude to be like losing every single week. There's just not. There's not.
There's not. I agree.
Did you want to see any comments?
Yeah, let's get some comments here. Vinci taking the L each time makes the finish less surprising. Still a great tag match with a lot of excitement and action. I agree. When you have those guys in the ring, it's always entertaining. Apparently, Champion's social media campaign was just him, not WWE canon. Interesting.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
it's still just annoying though. I don't understand why Gargano's doing that, but
it's also the right booking decision because Gable lost to Gunther last week. So if you need to give Gable some momentum again, having Gable win the match does that for him. Yeah, that's not what we're arguing.
yeah, we're just saying it doesn't have to be Vinci though.
Give me Kaiser tapping out. All right, maybe because he didn't want to, lose and be the one in front of his gal pal who was apparently backstage. I get it, but
yeah,
the prettiest moonsault ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you continue.
Oh, okay.
Before I fangirl,
Okay. And then we have Drew McIntyre getting feisty with a New Day. So they show a video package of McIntyre and Woods just hanging out backstage, talking earlier in the day.
Relaxing, all cool.
And Drew apologizes to him for the chair that took him out for a couple weeks. And Woods is all like, okay, but like, why are you talking ish about my boy Kofi? Drew says, actually, I meant what I said. And if Kofi has an issue with it, he can talk to me directly. He can man up, grow a set, and approach me himself. So Woods then accuses him of being jealous of
This
Kofi.
was a ice cold line. Ice cold.
Saying how he won his title in front of 82,000 fans and he just won it in a empty room at the performance center.
In an empty performance center.
Mm-hmm.
What?
And he said that clearly keeps him up at night. So they basically just challenge each other for a match. And so we see Drew McIntyre versus Xavier Woods. And it was a great match, actually.
Yeah,
it was solid. My only question is, of course, I'm enjoying the direction of what they're doing with Drew. I'm just like I'm curious, like what's the end game? Are we going to see a heel Drew McIntyre? Are we just seeing like a determined Drew McIntyre and so he's kind of coming off being sassy? So he's not really being a heel because he hasn't really done anything that makes him a bad guy. We're supposed to believe that the chair thing was an accident, which I do think was an accident.
Oh, yeah.
And then they just went with it for the storyline. But yeah, I'm interested. And I think that Drew is the most interesting that he has been in a while right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you have no idea what side Drew's on, and especially dealing with that rumbling, stumbling idiot of a tag partner.
Yeah,
Not
really.
having him last night, it even adds to that with him going at Xavier because there's no comic relief there. So you're getting that serious side of Drew
Mm-hmm.
where it could happen. Like he could fully turn heel and be so butthurt or whatever by that comment that he's going to swing, and then that leads it. But then they have the match, and there, he's a little bit more aggressive than his usual cheery self or whatever, because it shows a little darker side, and that's where Drew McIntyre is at his best when he is this dark
Mm-hmm.
Scottish slayer, essentially.
Yeah. And that's why I think, part of it is why I was saying that I felt like they needed to get him and Riddle away from each other, because I'm like, this is the only reason why this is working is because it's benefiting Riddle. It's not benefiting McIntyre. Like,
Oh.
McIntyre didn't need to be stuck in a tag team. Like, he's too good to be stuck in a tag team. And although he has accomplished quite a bit since he came back, however many, 3-4 years ago, whatever it was, he's, like I've said when we talked about this before, he's not at a level of Randy Orton where Randy can kind of like dictate like what he's doing, or he can be like, you know what, I actually am cool with, the whole RK bro. I'm having a ball. This is so fun, whatever. McIntyre's not really at that point because he hasn't accomplished half as much as what Randy did. So it's like another title for Randy, another title
Mhm.
run isn't as like at the top of his list the way that it is for McIntyre, especially because of what Kofi said. He didn't get to be champion really in front of a crowd. So
No, I
he's not
didn't.
then going to be like, yeah, put me in a tag team with the guy that is just a perennial tag team champ, tag team um worker. He
Yeah,
doesn't need to be.
the Genetti.
So yeah, and so that gets me to Matt Riddle. I don't want to get into all the drama.
You don't
My
need to.
Yeah, but my main thing, and this is I guess all I'm curious um about what you have to say about it. So if you guys are not versed in the latest drama around Matt Riddle, then I suggest you just look on Twitter, or I don't know, maybe Google it. Um
Lift up that
but
rock you're living under. You know.
the fallout from it was that he was removed from Raw, and he is removed from the house shows that he was supposed to be at this weekend. Um, my thing with him is that I don't really see the benefit of keeping him employed at this point. And it's not just because I'm speaking from somebody that's like, is not a fan of him. Obviously, I would be fine with him being released in that aspect because I don't
Yeah.
like him.
No. Yeah.
But when we
We get
think
that.
about the everything that has happened since he was brought up to the main roster, okay? The day he was being brought up to the main roster was a huge drama. Okay. And then everything since then has been a drama. Like, it's not every single week, but there's drama. So we had the drama with his personal life on the day he was being brought up. Then you got the drama, the heat of him from Seth Rollins and
Yeah, and that's
Becky.
not the. Those are not the two people to get in a feud with when you get into the main roster. They're just not.
Right. And then we had, obviously the drama of his drug use, and then the rehab, and then the stuff about the woman he met and now he's having a baby. And then we have this latest drama. To me, I don't really understand why WWE just like continues to employ him when all he does is continue to cause problems and embarrass them. Like, he's not someone who's selling tons of merch. He's not selling tickets. Like, I just don't see the value in keeping him because it's not like Cody Rhodes, like,
Well, that is heat
no, no, no.
miser and
Well, because
yeah.
what I mean is, like, I would get why they might be a little bit hesitant if Cody was doing something problematic and then they didn't really know, oh, I don't think we can't move him. We can't release him right now. Like, he's the
Let's see
the
where you're
main
going.
guy
Yes.
of Raw, and he's
Yes. Okay.
selling, he's the number one
See where
merch
you're at.
seller. People are buying tickets to see him. Like, I wouldn't necessarily agree about giving him chance after chance after chance, but like, it Riddle is not selling tickets. There are not people going to Raw because they want to see Matt Riddle. He's not anywhere near the top merch sellers. He's not doing anything for your company. So to me, they're giving him like all of these chances that they wouldn't give to somebody else. And he's a mid-carder. So it's not even like like I just don't get it. I'm just like I'm confused. I feel like
Do you see the merger with Endeavor playing in his favor?
no, because he got fired from UFC for drug use. So it's like they're not they
So I don't know
basically
what the fuck we're doing with Matt Riddle.
so that's what I'm saying. It's like they even were kind of like, okay, like you have fun dealing with him yourself because he's been the exact same fucking person like his whole career. And so I just don't understand why they're turning a blind eye because this doesn't scream like a dude that Vince likes. But
But
like
is it? He was on screen a lot with Vince in
well, that was
charge.
because of Randy Orton.
But Vince loves the stupid shit that will get cheap pops from the audience, and he is a guaranteed cheap pop of bro.
Kind of, but that's like lessened even
Oh,
over
it's
the
got
last like
well,
months. So that's why I'm
yeah.
saying like I just don't get it. So this is definitely a story that I'm going to be paying attention to. I mean, not like every single detail because I don't care that much because
Keep
he's
it on your radar.
I don't like him, but I would not be mad about them releasing him because I don't. I mean, the amount of people responding to the story saying he's gone. I can't wait for him to be gone. F this guy. Like it was crazy. So I'm like, there's a lot of negative response to him, and I didn't see a whole lot of people defending him. So I think that'll kind of tell you where the fans are at. But
I'd agree.
since we kind of talked about Cody Rhodes just a little bit in a hypothetical situation, we did see Cody Rhodes finally return to Raw, even though he's been, doing the dark matches. He comes out for his pyro and for the audience
The only
to
reason
sing.
he comes out, I don't care.
And we see, he's like, what do you guys want to talk about? And then he just gets into saying one sentence about how he wanted to talk about the Jey Uso situation. But Dom and Jay-Z McDonough interrupt him.
He's
And
your little
Dom...
ace.
Hmm?
He's your little Irish ace.
Yeah. And so Dom just is like, we don't care what you have to say, and he just taunts Cody. Like the second that he gets in the ring, he like brushes his tie and whatever. They try to jump Cody, but Cody hits them back with a Cody cutter and a crossroads, and that was it. That was the entire segment. Cody didn't even get back on the mic and was like, as I was about to say, like it was just like, okay, bye, see you later. And my main takeaway is, other than the fact that I was like, I don't understand what the point of this was, other than maybe teasing that obviously he has more information about the situation with Jey Uso and the trade. I don't want to see Cody versus Dom part 2. How about you?
I do. I do. I want to see it because Dom is so good as a heel, and I I have a feeling he and Cody would work so well together if given the enough time in the ring to do so. I really am a fan of Dom Mysterio. Put him with Cody Rhodes, who all he wants to do is just put over the younger talent. They could produce a low key. I'm not gonna say match of the year, but definitely a show stealer.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that their match would be bad. Obviously, we saw it at, what was it, Payback? Was it Payback? No, not Payback.
Oh my god, it was the one.
Whatever.
It was Money in the Bank.
Was it Money in the Bank?
I think it was Money in the Bank, like dead ass.
I don't know. Sorry, that was a hiccup. But yeah, I don't know. I saw Richard was talking about this earlier. I think it was like at the very beginning of our stream. Let me see. Oh, maybe am I wrong? Oh, it's because why is it going down? Okay. But oh, here it is. Do y'all feel that Cody has nothing to do, or Cody's lack of feud makes it feel like him and Bray were the plan and that is no longer happening. That's kind of what it seems like, because they've had Cody off TV, and then they like promoted since last week that Cody was returning this week. Then they have him out there for literally 2 minutes. And obviously he's doing the dark match when the show goes off the air, so they're not being, the crowd's not being hung high and dry. But this is the concern that I had, is that I was worried about the direction of him. So it's possible that it was going to be him versus Bray, but I also think that it might be that they are probably trading him to SmackDown. At least if that's in our theory that he is the one being traded to SmackDown, it makes sense for him to not be involved in any active storyline with somebody on Raw or anything like super deep, because if he's going to be just traded to SmackDown, then he can't like be feuding with a dude on the opposite show.
I agree. I'm torn about him getting traded to SmackDown, and it has nothing to do with me wanting him on SmackDown, my show, the best show. Raw is Cody Rhodes' show. Cody Rhodes came back to be on Monday Night Raw. He did not come back to be on SmackDown. And it's just, if there's a bigger plan in place here, fine, then let me in on it. But until then, I'm not a fan.
I told you what the plan
I know,
was.
but I don't like. But no, like.
But see, the reason
we have so much time.
I know, but I also, well, I mean, it's not like that the trade has to happen right away. I mean, they still haven't even like talked about a timeline about that. Well, maybe we'll find out more.
How much longer are you going to tease this trade?
I don't know, but to me, it makes literally no sense for anybody else to be traded. I mean, they can try and make it make sense, I guess, but for Cody to be involved, it just doesn't seem like a coincidence to me. But I think also you have to remember, like, yeah, I get why he's Raw. I think that it would kind of suck to see him on SmackDown, but SmackDown is such a different show than when he was last in the company. They were still filming on Tuesdays when he was around.
They weren't live. It wasn't SD Live yet.
Yeah, so I think it's like a different show now, and then Cody can kind of re-energize SmackDown, especially with Roman gone. Like, if Roman is really just going to be like chilling on the beach somewhere, not doing anything, then you kind of need somebody in that position, because as of right now, it's kind of just LA Knight.
He's like carrying SmackDown.
Yeah, but imagine having Cody there too. Like Raw is packed. They have the Judgment Day. They have Seth Rollins. Like they don't. It's not that Cody.
John Cena.
Okay, but that's for a month or two. I'm just saying.
The strike is going longer, Sarah.
The
strike ain't ending.
They only have him booked for a month or two. That's why I'm saying that. So
I know, but remember why he's there.
I know, but still. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's the only thing that makes sense. It's but I guess we shall see. Then we move on to Shinsuke Nakamura. We see a video package first of him. Again, we love it, right?
I love this.
His like evilness, I'm just so here for it. And he calls out Seth again and lists all of Seth's flaws, which I was like, oh, okay, you're getting a little spicy here. And he's like, you know what? I'll challenge you to the title whenever I feel like it. And see, everyone that was so mad about this last week being like, oh my gosh, Seth just offered him a rematch and he doesn't even deserve it. And then he says, no, this is so dumb. I'm like, no, it's absolutely brilliant. Like, this is incredible. I don't know what you're talking about. So Seth, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say why just go with Nakamura saying I want the title. It's so much more intriguing to have Shinsuke be sitting in the with these vignettes and whatnot, saying that I'll challenge you when I feel like it, because Seth wants it. Seth is the one who wants this match. Shinsuke can lose matches and then just attack him from behind. Yeah. Because the end of the day, he's not going to stop attacking him from behind until he has the title. He knows this, but he can't win the title in a regular match if, with stipulations and whatnot. That's what they're building towards. So to have Seth be so revved up and that anger, the tension boiling in his blood, that he
Mhm.
wants to fight Shinsuke. And he's saying no, that's only going to piss him off more, which makes Shinsuke a fantastic heel. Like, up there, top 3 right now in the company. But it only makes Seth a stronger baby face.
And this like adds so many chapters, I feel like, to their story, because it does feel like they're grooming Nakamura to be the one to take the title off of Seth, whether it's just a natural progression of their feud or it's because Seth does need to take time off. That's where it feels like this is going, and at least this is adding layers to the story to make it more believable to the people who aren't fans or not that into Nakamura, to be the champion, to be the one to take it off of Seth, to get people to care more about Seth's championship reign or to care about, you know, losing the title or Shinsuke winning, as opposed to if they did it at the last pay-per-view, people were not going to be as into it or as receptive of Shinsuke winning. This makes it feel like, okay, no, there's still 4 weeks until Fastlane. There's plenty of time for them to get, you know, develop this story even further and get people to hate Nakamura, which I'm sorry, I can't, but I'm also
No, get the
all
yeah.
about the bad guys. I love the bad guys. So
You're a heel girl.
yes, I am.
I love my super baby faces.
Yeah, I
My
love the.
heroes.
There's nothing as good as a bad guy. Okay.
Shut your mouth. There's nothing more
Um.
over than a great baby face.
So then we see Seth Rollins come out, and obviously he addresses the video that they just showed of Nakamura, and he says all of the things that Shin said I am, but I'm also a lot more, like a father, a fighter, and a champion. And then he goes on about how he's found himself and blah, blah, blah. I don't feel like talking about all the details of all that because
Everyone
whatever.
finds himself. It
Yeah,
just
that's
takes a
great.
little bit.
That's great.
Whoa.
It's just,
that was
I just,
so just like
I just don't
kick
care.
to the dick. Just like,
Yeah,
oh my god,
it's
that's
whatever.
hilarious. You know what? You
So
find yourself? Fuck you.
yeah,
All
whatever,
right.
dude. Whatever, dude. So he then challenges Shinsuke to a match tonight, and he says, I'm going against management because they don't want me to be wrestling, but I don't care. And so then we get Nakamura's music. It hits, but he doesn't come out. And then we see a video, a live feed of the backstage area where Shinsuke is beating the crap out of Mr. Ricochet, who confessed his love and admiration for Seth a week or two ago. And he told Seth that, oh, I heard you weren't cleared for tonight, so I just found my own opponent. And he's just beating the shit out of Ricochet. And he's like, I'm sorry, I'll take your title, but not today. And I was like, this is just king shit right here. I'm sorry, but this is king shit. Like, this is exactly,
He's playing with his food right now.
this
He's
is what
playing
we
with his
needed.
food.
This is exactly what I've always wanted for Nakamura. And whoever is coming up with all of this in the creative room, I am so excited
That's
that
awesome, you.
this is happening. And Richard makes a good point. He says, I think Shinsuke plan is to involve Ricochet because it means Shin has to wrestle Seth less. I'm assuming that's what I'm thinking. Like, the fact that they keep talking about and alluding to Seth's injury, it makes it feel like that is going to be the major component in why Seth loses the title. It just, they don't normally talk about a real life injury like this. Like, if anything, they try to hide it, you know? So, I mean, we don't even have to go back that far. When Cody tore his pec, they announced it days before the pay-per-view because they were like, oh shit, we're going to have to cancel this, whatever. And then it became this huge storyline, and then it made it into a match of the, I wouldn't even say match of the year.
We saw a man's skin turn purple.
Yeah, it got to be one of the most legendary matches, like in WWE
easily
ever.
No, not even WWE. Wrestling. Period.
Okay, I was trying to be fair. That's why.
Oh, it's that was the most barbaric, heroic effort any wrestler has done inside a ring.
Yeah,
and I feel I would have a lot of people in the industry agree with me.
So yeah, I'm assuming that we're just getting to that point eventually, and I'm here for it. You know, I'm excited for a Nakamura heel run, as long as if he becomes champion and Seth does just leave, like we don't see him for months because he is injured and having surgery, whatever. I just really want them to have Nakamura have like a great championship run, because it seems like a lot of the time, at least in recent history, everything, the build up is great, and then once they become champion, it all goes to shit.
Yeah, they kind of
So
flatline a little bit. Yeah.
yeah, and so that's my concern, is that everything has been really great with Shinsuke, and then once he becomes champion, I'm like, no, let's keep that going, because he's been way too good for you to just decide that you don't care or to invest any time in this anymore. Then we move on to Finn Balor. This is just a quick segment, and I just want to talk about it because it was funny. So he's in the back sucking up to Jey Uso and trying to convince him to join the Judgment Day. And he's saying the Judgment Day is the right place for you. You know, we said earlier that like nobody here likes you, but we are all fans of you. Like I'm a fan of you. Damien's a fan of you. Dominic's a fan of you. And then he's like, and Rhea's a fan of you. And Jay's like, oh, for real?
For real?
Like he didn't care that everybody else in the group was a fan, but then he heard Mommy is a fan of you, and he's like, "Oh, for real?"
For real?
And I want to be like, Jay, you're a married father. You
That
are
would-
a
that's-
married father.
Bro, that's like when you're at the bar and that your friend comes over and say, "Hey, that girl across the bar, you know, she's looking at you," and you're like, "For real?
Yeah.
Really? Should I go
It's like
over
he
there?"
was all like, he's like, "Oh, I still got it. Like this old man still got it." You know, that's
Got
like
it.
so.
Got it.
Other than that,
Look good.
you know, we were asked earlier if we think that Jay was going to join Judgment Day. I don't see that happening, but we're definitely going to eventually see Jay versus the Judgment Day, right?
Yeah, no, that's what is going on right now. Is we're just getting the first tastes of Jey Uso being entangled with the Judgment Day, whether it be with Kevin Owens, whether it be with New Day, whether it be on his own. He is going to be entangled with the Judgment Day because we already saw on SmackDown that the Judgment Day have something to do with the bloodline.
They are like they're playing both sides of the fence right now, and I love it because I feel like that is such an epitome of what a bad guy would do. Like they want to have all of their options available to them, you know? So it's like, okay, I'm going to try and get Jay, but if Jay isn't, then fuck Jay, because then I still have my bloodline over here, you know? Like it's perfect. And that's what I was saying when we talked about how happy I am that Judgment Day is on SmackDown as well, and having actual storylines happen on SmackDown that's separate from Raw. Like I like that aspect instead of it always just being like the same shit on both shows. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
So, and oh yeah, Cha Cha Boy says just name it Monday Night Rhea. Richard says it's Monday Night Mommy.
It's Monday Night Mommy.
That is right.
If I come home with a Monday Night Mommy t-shirt, I think I'm being thrown out of my house. But
they also made another shirt. It looks like that says "Mommy's always on top." It's the one that Dominic
can't wear that. Can't wear that. That is you.
But I could. But I'm saying they got a new one because this
I
is
tweeted
the one
about
with just
it.
the words.
Yeah, I tweeted about it because this man had a full-on "Mommy's always on top" shirt, and
love it.
I love wrestling so much. It's
so. Speaking of Rhea, we get to the main event.
Time.
Raquel Rodriguez versus Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship. And other than what we're going to talk about, how the match ended, I really think that this match was far better than what we just saw at the PLE. Because I think Meltzer gave it like a 1.5 stars or like 1.75, which I was like, that's really low in my opinion. But this, I felt like it definitely made them both look really strong. I like that we saw more of Rhea. We saw the frog splash from Rhea. But we saw more of how she can perform other than just doing the like powerful, strong, dominant type of moves, you know? And we got a more physical Raquel also, because she was throwing Rhea into the commentary desk and like slamming her onto the apron. Like I liked everything that they did in this match. And I like that it was so much better than what we just saw, because it just made it feel, I don't know, it's like you could feel the frustration of Raquel, you know, and I felt like that was important because people were so unhappy with their match at the show.
Mm-hmm.
But the main takeaway from this, and you guys already alluded to it at the beginning, was our friend here.
She's not like most girls who only take just what you get and it's
No,
something on again and a wish. She's not like most girls.
This
Now
like
she's back, baby. Let's go. Nia Jax fan club numero uno.
yeah, you're literally the only one. Um, so when I first heard
She's fucking
the
back.
the crowd getting all rowdy because obviously you knew that somebody was gonna come out and help Rhea. I assumed it was gonna be JD McDonough. We talked about that.
Yeah.
And so I got excited. I was like, JD's here. And then you just see this pic with this woman. I'm like, who the fuck is this? And then you see it's Nia. And I'm like, why? Okay. And then you find out, according to the dirt sheets, that it was Vince that brought her back on his last day. He hasn't hired or fired anybody this year. And then the only person that he brings back is Nia Jax. So she's
been signed for a month.
only a month. Oh, yeah. I did see that. Yeah.
She's
That was,
been signed for a month.
yeah.
And we got it on the last day of the McMahon regime. It was oh my god, I was cackling to myself here.
So she came out and she made sure that Rhea won the match, which I was like, all right, that's interesting. She made Judgment Day, and I wasn't into that. I was like, I don't want her in the Judgment Day. Keep her away from the Judgment Day. But then we see her attack Rhea, and obviously that is setting up the fact that Nia and Rhea are going to be having a match, whether it's a triple threat or whether it's a one-on-one match. It's very clear that they're going to have Nia go for the title. And we've been talking about how the Raw roster was not it for Rhea to be champion. There weren't a whole lot of options for her to go and have feuds with and have like legit matches with. So in that aspect, okay, cool. She's going to go against Nia, whatever. But like, please, to all of the wrestling gods, do not have this woman become champion. Do not do it.
It becomes champion.
No.
I will shed a brick. You can't. Come on. Even I know that one. You can't. Like, okay, let's think positive. Maybe she's just gonna be another notch under the belt of Rhea in her illustrious title reign, where she beat a veteran in Nia Jax. I'm just trying to find a way to make this funny and not heartbreaking. So
I think, I mean, other than the fact of being confused about the whole situation, I was kind of confused on her end why she came back, because after she was released, she started spewing all sorts of weird like conspiracy theories and shit online. She talked a lot of crap about WWE and management and like the wrestlers. I was very confused. It felt like she made her stance pretty clear about how she felt about WWE. So I was like, oh, you actually wanted to come back? Okay. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It seemed like most people's reactions were not into it. Everybody was like RIP to the women's locker room because she's prone to injuring them. But
someone said, where's the comment here? I need to find this. Yeah, there it is. Cha. Yeah, Jack's back. Medical budget must have gotten expansion.
I know, and it's sad because it's like, I don't like to say that, it's like with Ridge Holland, it's like, whatever, but with Nia it was like over and over and over again because she's sloppy and careless.
She broke the nose of Becky.
I know, which, I mean, in hindsight, iconic, bitch. Thank you for doing that. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, like she kept injuring people. I mean, so it's, I don't know, but anyway, that was Raw. What a way to end Raw. Vince McMahon was like, I'm going to go out on a high note. It's like, what?
So do you what's the show that comes after Raw for you? Is it the Hot Wheels Make Your Own Car or whatever?
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
because
I think so, but I don't watch Raw on TV. I watch it on my iPad.
But it's on USA, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's yeah. It doesn't matter. TV, iPad, my potato.
Yeah.
The fact that we had to go from Nia Jax into a show about people making their dream Hot Wheels
Hmm.
was just one of the most what the fuck type of moments I've felt, where I'm trying to soak in the fact that Nia Jax is somehow back in WWE
Hmm.
after this boom that we've been going through, and to calm me down and take me into my slumber for the night, we got the Hot Wheels. I don't know, the transitions into the shows afterwards are always just funny to me of
Yeah.
how ridiculous they are. I mean, it's either that or Love
Hmm.
Island, where it's just a bunch of people having a grand old time. So I don't know. Pick your
Yeah.
poison.
A bunch of the ones that would have bullied you in high school. Same.
Oh my god, bullied the shit out of me, and I would have been
Mm.
like trying to get the I'll do your homework. We go to
Yeah.
dance to me. I'll do your homework. I'm not gonna get it right, but at least I try.
So anyway, that was
That was
Raw.
raw. That was raw, and thank we. That was also the raw rewinds. We thank you guys for tuning into this edition. We got a lot of stuff coming up. Honestly, everything's coming up for us. We have, obviously this No Nights Off, the actual show, on Thursday. Pitts and Sarah's wrestling show on Thursday, where I don't know what the topic is yet, but I got a couple in my ye old handy dandy notebook that we can talk about. We are going to talk about, though. This is going to be at least either in my Rosebud or in the 3 count, but the NWF is here. Okay, I'll start my little promotion soapbox with this. Twitch.tv/ Nonsense Sports Network. Mondays, okay, Mondays is Sarah's Raw. All right, the whole purpose of this is pretend Sarah and I bought the WWE. Yay! And we each took a show. Sarah has Raw, I have SmackDown. We have our own rosters. And then the third show is not developmental, it's Shenanigans, which you got to tune in to find that out. And Shenanigans happened on the first episode of NWF
We
Raw.
have new tag team champions, guys.
We have new tag team champions with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Uh,
Leonardo and Raphael.
well, it's going to be them all. We'll
Oh, okay.
definitely
Well,
incorporate the Freebird
they
rule.
beat Darth Maul and Darth Vader, guys.
Sith. It was a real upset,
Yeah.
honestly.
It was yeah.
The Sith
And
were
Cody
looking
is the
good.
number one contender for
Cody
the
Rhodes.
WWE championship.
I'll have to cut these clips tomorrow. Well, yeah, I could do it. Oh, we have a busy day tomorrow. I'll cut the clips up from some of the matches because, like, Sarah, this was so fucking fun to commentate. I'm not
I
gonna
was
lie.
watching.
No, I know you were, but I'm saying, like, from a personal standpoint, like, this was so fun to commentate because it wasn't just a video game where you have the two 2D people just doing
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
You were watching it. It felt a lot more real, fluid. I would say fluid's a better word than the other games before.
I made sure to show my sister the concert you gave us for Cody.
Oh, I sang because that's the other thing I got to figure out too is that you can't hear the music.
Yeah, we couldn't hear the music.
Bullshit.
All I could hear when like Pretty Deadly was coming out was like boo, like all these like random people being like you suck, and I was like ew. So then they're like doing all this, and I'm like, this is really weird because it's like
There's
silent.
no music and they're just doing this.
Yeah, it's just like coming out and they're like rocking out like, and I'm like ew, what is going on? Like it was weird, but
When
yeah.
I did the last NWF pay-per-view, like my trial run of it, I put in my own theme songs that I downloaded. Oh, Cha-Cha Boy Watch, let's go.
Yeah, he
NWF
said it
Raw
at the
was good.
beginning. It was a great stream, he said.
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry. I got to get better at paying attention to detail. It was good. I do want to see the title. What was it?
Oh,
the title division rankings. If y'all, I got to work on that. We'll probably do like a show or two and then figure out really.
Damian Priest is the WWE champion on Raw.
Yeah. Oh, you got to see the titles too. Yeah, that's the other thing.
Yeah.
You guys see
He's
my
the
roster.
Winged Eagle champion.
Is the Winged Eagle. Cody Rhodes is number one contender. That was a really good match.
Rhea is the women's champion, but like the original women's championship belt.
Yeah. And Sarah, we got, I think Thursday. I'm thinking, no, we'll do Friday still. We'll do Friday. I'll stick to the schedule.
Right.
Friday. Yeah, let's stick to the schedule. Let's not, we already have the plan in place. Friday. Okay. We got my show. We got the A show, SmackDown.
Very rude.
Coming to town, NWF style. The champ of the peeps is bringing his roster to the Nonsense Sports Network with my champion, and everybody saying L.A. Knight. Yeah. And a couple other things that we might see. I got to still make my match card, and we'll be on the lookout for that. And then we'll incorporate it into Sara's YouTube channel to get those subscribers up as well. We're at 940. Did you say 940 was our subscribers?
Yep.
940. We're 60 away from 1,000. That's so incredible. Like, that is so incredible and wild to think that we're that close.
941.
941. As we said, like, we already get one more. That's awesome. Keep it growing, and tell a friend to subscribe as well. And if they don't want to sit here and watch the whole Raw Rewind, they only want to see a little bit to get their foot in the water, we got clips in the archives. Go check them out of everything that's gone on, pretty much, and a little bit more. And for the other social media platforms that we are on, check that link, those links, in the description, and follow us on all of them, because that's where we're at when we're not in the yard of streams. And that's where I feel like I'm going to be at right now, because NXT's on and I got to watch my girl Tiff. Let's go. The prettiest moonsault ever. Going to take out the man. Who? I hope so. Thank you guys for tuning in. God bless. Remember that you can do it. All I got to do is try. We will see you on Thursday. Yeah.